Joachim Samuelsson, CEO of Crunchfish. Very nice of you to talk to us today.
Yes, it's nice to have this interview again with you, Alf. Thanks for inviting me.
Always a pleasure. You have recently announced a series of new partnership relationships in the area of digital cash. And just to briefly sum up, when you say digital cash, you mean a means of payment that's stored in your mobile phone, and that is just as useful as normal physical cash. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It is like physical cash, but you have it in a digital form instead. And what's nice about it is that the receiver, if this is in a business context, a merchant, they could verify that they have received something, even if they are also in offline mode.
Exactly.
So we just like cash, we stay completely in the offline mode. The way we see it is that we do an offline settlement. So in this time critical moment of payment, it's a complete transaction. So they can let go of the customer with the goods and services, and then they can settle online later on any type of rail. It could be CBDC or real-time payment or card or closed wallet. That's the beauty of it, that we do that first step as a separate step. That's what we have come up with.
And the key feature here is that it's fast, and it works in all environments, even when everybody's offline.
Yeah, exactly. There is we've made ourselves independent. I think we pose this question: why on earth have we made ourselves dependent on the net when we are paying? It has never been that for thousands of years. We have always paid it as a local transaction. And why in some few years now have we made ourselves very dependent? We have to take away that dependency, and that's what we're doing with our digital cash.
Yesterday, you had a press release that where you described your new ecosystem of partners in the area of digital cash, and you listed lots of different areas where you see potential partners. So is it your plan to sign up partners in all of these different categories, or do you have a wish list where somebody comes first and then you have lower priorities further out?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think we have a wish list, but I think potentially we could sign up partners everywhere. I think from a top level, we differentiate between partners which are tech enablers like ourselves. We are not part of the actual transaction flows. We're not part of the digital payment rail. We are just tech enablers, and the tech enablers are everywhere in these sort of ecosystems. But then we can also have partners which are digital payment operators. They're part of the rail itself, and the current partners we have, they are just like us, just tech enablers. But I will foresee us in sort of some very near future. We will also have partners which are also digital payments operators that would like to have us as a partner as well.
And just to take a step back, the reason you're building this whole ecosystem, could you say something about the main motivation for bringing in all these partners?
Yeah, well, we have this dream that our digital cash will be in every single wallet in the world. That will take a huge amount of time to get that, to make all these sort of wallets connected to us. So in order to get there, I think the whole ecosystem with, say, if we start at the top, the networks, this is like MasterCard, Visa, and those, if we can get a partnership with them, we will reach into their sort of, into their ecosystem and their sort of wallets, the banks and the wallets that they are sort of providing for. We can do partnership with banks, and central banks are extremely important, because all of a sudden they will push their sort of technology or their central bank digital currency all over the place in that country, reaching all the wallets. We can have switching processors. These are the ones which are switching online payments. You know, we are in a way switching offline payments, but if we have it's a nice partnership with switching processors, because they do it on an online world, we can do it in offline world, and they have, you know, thousands of banks as partners as well. So that's another type of partnership. So if we get those partnerships, we are sort of building really the highway into getting into all the wallets, and the wallets is our highway to get to all the merchants. Because it sort of scales. Look at India. I think we have 60 million merchants in India. but we probably have just a few hundred, or I don't know, less than 1,000, I would guess, apps, wallet apps. So I think the thing is here to, you get to the merchants that they can use our digital cash if we get to the wallets. And to get to the wallets, we need the ecosystem above that has many wallets that are using the networks, the payment networks, or the banks, or the processors. So it's all interconnected, these things. So and I believe building this ecosystem and painting it out the way we've done, we will provide great benefits to our partners, because if we are partnering with sort of one player, the solution that fit with our solution, we can bring that into sort of a new partners deals as well. So I think it will be all sort of multiplication effects. Sort of one partner will get to our partners as well, not just to us,
Exactly.
which is sort of going to create a lot of scale. And I think there's no other way. If we are serious about being, you know, the offline settlement switch of the world with digital cash being everywhere, we need that partner ecosystem. Otherwise, I think we will fail in succeeding.
And you mentioned central banks there. I suppose they are very eager to get in on the action as well, because I mean their role is in a way threatened if somebody else provides the cash. I mean, they are under competition for cryptocurrency and what have you. So are you talking to central banks as well?
Well, we did this webinar series, as you know, during the Q4, the role of the Swedish state in digital payments, and there we actually established, I think, a good relation. We had the head of payments, Kristina Weishammar. She was on our webinar series. She was in the opening one, so they're very aware of what we can do. But the announcement we did last week with e-currency, because they have been working with the solutions for central banks for sort of 10 years, talking to central banks. And what they do is to deliver a system which could help central banks to issue cash in a digital form, very similar to how they issue coins and notes today. So they have that, they are partners potentially, or tech providers, tech enablers to central banks. But we come in as a very important piece, because all central banks realize that our service, our central bank digital currency needs to replicate what cash is, which is an offline thing. And this is where we come into the picture, because e-currency's platform, just like any other sort of, I would say, a digital payment service of today, are online systems, online payment system. So is also e-currencies. So we complement that by providing that very crucial offline payment step. So again, this is a good example. The fact that e-currency has already talking to many central banks, when they get wins in the market, well, they bring us along into these, and then we can come out to all wallets in that country who want to handle the central bank currency in that country. But also, if I look one step ahead, our first relationship was with Viki, that we announced sort of 6 months ago, or during the summer, and they are a very important part of our solution. So the benefit for Viki that we got, e-currency as a partnership, means that we will bring Viki into the deals with central bank digital currency as well. So it's this is what I mean, that the whole ecosystem will help each other by bringing deals. The fact that we are winning and getting into new and interesting partnerships, it's good news for our partners, because we will introduce them as well.
I see. You mentioned Viki, you mentioned e-currency. There's a third one that you announced recently. It's called Neoi. Can you talk a little bit about that company?
Yeah, it's all about something called behavioral biometrics. It is to authenticate the user. You can authenticate yourself, Alf, by you punch in your PIN. It's like a password. Then everybody is experienced with what's called biometrics. You can use your thumb, or maybe it's face recognition, and that's something on your body that identifies you. Behavioral is yet another security level, but it's completely invisible to the user, because what it does, it collects sort of your pattern of how you interact with your own device, how fast you type your password, how hard you press on the screen, how you hold the way you hold your phone. A lot of these things becomes in a way like a fingerprint on how you are interacting. And it's interesting that this is then when you're gonna do an interaction, say with a bank that you want to do a payment, then you could score how likely it is from 0 to 100%, how likely it is that it's actually you doing this transaction. There's a lot of fraudulent logins and so on, and with behavioral, they can stop, say, a bot from doing a login, because they will see this is not a human who has sort of done it in this way. So even if the bot has your password, they can't get in anyway. So it's quite an interesting invisible type of, they call it invisible security, and it's very non-intrusive for the user, but it's behind the scene, I think, a very crucial central piece of security that payment services and banks want to have. And as we have digital cash working in offline mode, it's great if we could sort of add that level of security as well to our solution. So it's yet another technology enabler that strengthens the security aspect of our solution.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Now I understand what you are looking for in your partnership deals, but if we turn the perspective around and look at Crunchfish from your partner's perspective, what do they expect from you, and what is it about you that attracts their attention?
Well, right now, I think is that we are fairly unique in this digital cash. I think people are starting to realize that what we've been saying for a sort of well over a year now, that this is extremely interesting to do that two-step process, so that you settle offline and then you settle online. I think that is becoming more and more of a hot topic. CBDC is starting to pick up. People's Bank of China, it's starting to talk about the digital yuan, the Chinese currency, becoming a world currency. That puts a lot of stress on ECB in Europe, the American Federal Reserve, and India has just announced that they really now want to start looking at it as well. So, and as you know, central bank currency is offline. Essentially, that's what they deliver. If they're only going to do another digital service, I don't think they are needed, because we already have so many digital services with cards and real-time payments and wallets. They don't add anything in that equation. They need to be offline. And then all of a sudden, what we have here is becoming sort of very, very trendy and very hot. And we are solving things for the market in terms of, in India, I think I almost joking that we are like a Kinder egg in India. We deliver the digital cash, we deliver the connectivity, we solve for the lack of connectivity, because you don't need connectivity when you're paying. That's one surprise, which they need to solve. The second one is the biggest problem right now in India is that their servers are overloaded. People don't want to use cash, so they are paying sort of, they want to use their mobile phones, but the servers can't cope. The biggest bank in India right now has 24% decline. 24%. They do 500 million transactions, but 100 million transactions every month is declined or are declined, which is huge. But we solve that because it's an instant transaction when, physical transaction, and then you can send up the transaction immediately. It can be lying there and queuing for 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. But in the time critical moment of payment, we've solved for that. And then the third aspect, which we are, we will solve as well, is the feature phones. Half of India is having feature phones. The old Nokia phones that we played Snake on. That's really what you want to start using as well. Half of India is excluded. We'll bring them in. So you can just imagine that we are in high fashion in India, giving them a Kinder egg with 3 surprises.
Yeah, I can understand that you have a lot going on at the moment, Joachim, and you probably have lots of meetings with different partnerships in the next few weeks or maybe even hours. This has been fascinating. Thanks very much, Joachim.
Thanks a lot, Al. Thanks for having me. Take care then. Cheers.
Okay. Bye-bye.